Hello everyone, making a little quiet video today. I was just going to show you Zaffo splattered out on the bed here on the sofa, but she just moved as I turned on the camera. She was really sleeping her deepest sleep, and she still is a bit tired. Hello everyone. We've been on a very, very long walk. I have had my tea and a couple of sandwiches. Now I'm having yogurt and my own muesli. And I'm gonna tell you something because I've made some decisions. I was planned to go on a long car ride tomorrow to go to Kalmar city out at the east coast to have Sappho's eyes examined, which is a requirement if you want to breed in the kennel club. I did go last week, as you perhaps saw in the videos, with all the troubles with my car battery and all the help I got, uh, to the nearest city to have her x-rayed on her hips and her elbows. And I haven't been into the kennel club to check it, but there was a bit of a shadow on one elbow, so maybe she's not in the top category. That does not mean you can't breed puppies on her. It just means that she may not be mated up to the very best of the male dogs, because they wouldn't want there to be anything wrong with the female dog that they should breed on. But I actually canceled going to check her eyes. And why did I do that? I did because over this weekend I have come to the conclusion that I am moving back to Denmark. I had to at some point, but I was planning on making the puppies now, and then later, after that, to start the process of moving back to Denmark. But now that I'm not breeding on her, and I'm not because I don't have the financial, what do you call it, foundation. I simply don't have enough money to see the whole process through. So I'm not going to venture into something that involves her and some puppies, and then all of a sudden be out of funds, out of money. That would be extremely irresponsible of me, and I'm not going to do that to her or to myself. So that was cancelled. I did think I would go and get her eyes examined anyway, but I'm not. Mostly because it's a very, very long drive. It is snowing heavily now. It is very, very cold, and the frost just has bitten into the northern hemisphere. I think everyone sits in ice and snow right now. And it would just be stupid, because that exam would only be legal for a year. So I would have to make a new exam on her eyes anyway, when it will become actual to have puppies. So I called them this morning and said, I'm not gonna come. And you can do that because it's 24 hours before, so I don't have to pay any extra thing to the vet. I did pay a little bit to the kennel club for the license that is needed for that eye exam, but that was 100, and the drive there and the vet would have been 1,500. So I can afford to lose those 100. And then I called my uncle, who lives at the northwest coast of Denmark, and said, you know what? I'm coming home. I'm coming home. Now, I did live up there around that area. I don't want to go to the town that I used to live in, but at my uncle's and to the other side up north in Jutland, I actually want to go up there. It's my father's family up there. My father's buried up there, and his parents and grandparents and everyone are from up there. And of course, it's a place where I spent many weeks in my childhood. We lived a bit more to the south, but at that ocean, Bulbia is a place it's called, up at the cliffs on the northwest coast, is where I have spent many hours running up and down the cliffs up there and at the beach and on the moors, picking little blackberries. They're not called blackberries, but they're blackberries growing on the heather with my grandmother. And I'm going to move back up there. And I told him, would you please ask around? I do have other uncles up there, and they have very nice neighbors, and I know some of them have extra houses or summer houses. So I got my uncle into asking around for someone who could rent me a small place to begin with, and I'm just gonna find work. I'm gonna find a job at the local grocery store where I can work for 5 hours a day or something like that. Doesn't matter. I can do whatever it takes. And then I'm gonna live in a bit of a more normal house, with water and with perhaps even a washing machine and stuff like that. And I'm gonna look forward to that. Now comes all the logistics about, do I drive my Swedish car there with my trailer on it, and how do I get the Swedish car back to Sweden to sell it, because it's very expensive to have it re-registered to Danish license plates. I'm not going to do that because that just doesn't make any sense. I can buy a new or second-hand car for that money that it would cost to register it. So it's not going to happen. I'm going to sell it, and I'm going to buy another one when I land in Denmark. So that's the new development. When is it going to happen? Yeah, maybe in a month or 2 or 3. I don't know. The decision has been made, and I couldn't sleep last night. I was, everything was just moving around in my head, and I had this feeling. I did cry a little bit, actually. I shed a little tear and thought, I'm coming home. So I have no idea if it's going to feel like coming home when I actually do it. But yesterday it did. It did feel a little bit like having been on a very large journey and coming back to my roots anyway. I don't know if it's home that much, but it's certainly my roots. And that felt good. It felt nice. And I would never have said that 10 years ago, that going back up there to the north of Jutland would be coming home for me. But I think it can be now. It can be coming home. It feels like coming home. Mentally, anyway. Or in my heart. Like finishing a journey, that I have felt at home and very welcomed everywhere where I have lived. All things I've done, the farm in Bornholm, but going back to Bornholm now wouldn't be like going home, or going to any of the other places where I have lived would not be like coming home. But going up to the north of Jutland, back to the North Sea, back to the moors, the heathers, and the harsh winds that I've been spared for 6 years here in the forest, that feels a little bit like coming home. So I'll see if it does feel like coming home when I do get there. And then there's all the stressful paperwork and stuff about moving from one country to another. I'll just have to deal with that day by day, and I know it's annoying, but I'm moving to something familiar anyway, and to family that I love and have become more and more close with over the last decade or so, and that feels so good to me. And of course, Sappho is coming along, and I still hope that in a year from now we're gonna make those puppies. And now I'm gonna show you if she can stay still. She knows that I'm doing things with that camera, so now her eyes are open. But she's very, very relaxed. We've been on a long walk out in the snow and the frost, and she loves it. And I love to see her tired after a long walk. So we're enjoying ourselves, and I hope you are too. New decisions. I like making life-changing decisions sometimes. It feels good. It feels invigorating, and it a little bit frightening, and yeah, I think it's always exciting. And she has no idea, but I'm glad that she's not going to be in a car for 6 or 7 hours tomorrow in this cold, and she doesn't like driving. So we'll skip that, and we'll get back to that in a year or so. So, to all of you, thank you for following. The channel will, of course, continue to be here, and I hope you are going to follow me on my adventures. This house is not going to be sold, at least not now. I'm going to keep it as my summer house, and I'm going to come here as much as I can, I hope. But I do not believe that I'm going to miss being here in the wintertime. It's very cold. As you can see, it's very messy. I've just been doing some of the firewood. But I love it here, and I love it in north of Jutland. And you always take your heart with you, and when you can also take your dog with you, then nothing is wrong. Everything is good. So that was it from me and from Zaffo from this time, and I will see you on the next one. Bye bye, everyone. You say bye bye? No, I'm tired. Bye bye, everyone. Bye bye.